A report was published by International Finance Corporation and the World Bank. The report indicated that Uganda could grow its economy, create jobs and strengthen its trade in Africa by increasing agribusiness, housing and energy.
So the report looked at different sectors and we focused primarily on 3 sectors which we believe can be growth drivers for the Ugandan economy and where the private sector can play an increasing role. So one of those was agriculture, which is the entire agri-value chain, because that is such an important sector in Uganda in terms of both contribution to GDP as well as job creation. The second area we looked at was energy, where again energy by itself is an input to many other sectors. And even if you want to do agro-processing, you want to run a flour mill or whatever, you need energy. You need access to energy, you need quality of energy supply, and you need energy at the right cost.
And as a result, in order to address some of these challenges, which is productivity and job challenges, we are requiring a focus on growth in sectors that can do that. Sectors that can leverage demand from abroad, sectors that are inherently competitive for growth in Uganda, sectors that can support productivity or improve productivity, and are labor intensive to absorb demand for jobs. And I think we can all agree that the private sector and its ability to create sustainable jobs and investment is core to addressing these issues.
The report found out that energy, housing and agribusiness, commonly fisheries, dairy and maize are among those that offer strong potential to address job creation and competitiveness challenges amidst high population growth and urbanization.
So I think the major reforms we really want to start with should be looking at ourselves and our standards. Secondly, I've had an interaction with actually the people in the dairy sector. We might be here saying the cost of credit is high. But from the academia, how best do you finance a business? It sells revenue. The main way of financing your business are your sales. Even when you take money, the lender is looking at your sales for purposes of their payment.
To secure quality of food in our domestic market for humans and animals, and 2, to make our products exportable to the region in a quality better than what they have in their domestic markets, so that we can build our market. There's no reason why the dairy industry should not explode way past 150 million and carry on. We have a huge competitive advantage. If we didn't have non-tariff barriers to Rwanda, we would support that market. If we didn't have non-tariff barriers to Kenya, we would be supporting that market. Kenya is short by 1 million litres of milk a day, and every single one of those litres could come from Uganda. But to be able to do that, we have got to get our industry right, and we have got to support our farmers to understand what quality is.
However, to realize growth in these sectors, Uganda will need to continue advancing reforms and attracting the private investment. The International Finance Corporation's goal is to help strengthen Uganda's competitiveness, economy and job creation by supporting increased private sector investment in key growth areas.
In our environments, it is not possible for governments to create the number of jobs that are required by our population. The private sector has to step in. The government alone will be constrained in filling all the development gaps. To help achieve the country's development goals, the private sector has to play a larger role. So that's what we mean, and that's what the CPSD is driving towards, how to achieve that.
Through lead farm structures. So we are creating a new culture, a mindset that essentially seeks to empower, bolster, and really facilitate the young population to create meaningful jobs. And obviously the issue of standards is coming up. Good infrastructure, oil and gas is coming up. And I think that as far as we are concerned as private sector, a discussion of this type is very good. If we can have more regular engagements to ensure that we constantly drum up this discussion and entrench a viable, fantastic economy. DRC is around the corner, 105 million people, good money. So I think that if we start with the most basic critical issues on standards, on infrastructure, good policies, an enabling environment with all the facilitators in place, I think that we are going to change and turn around this fantastic opportunity.
Over the last 2 decades, Uganda has had a good track record implementing pro-private sector policies that have led to a significant inward investment, high levels of regional trade and vibrant informal economy. However, the country's growth rates have recently slowed down, and there are signs of government's pro-private sector agenda losing some ground. Pedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV.